I love your guys' podcast. I listen to you when I work out, but I disagree with some things. And I said, that's exactly why we do it.
Yeah.
Because we want people to take in the information and make change or think about it or come on and advocate and talk about it.
Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Jennifer,
And I'm Ashlee.
and it's just us today, but we wanted to come in and talk a little bit about this exciting conference that's coming up and talk a little bit more about how this little seed was planted and how excited we are to get to be a part of this incredible organization and be there live on the ground come next month in March. It's crazy.
Gonna come so fast. Obviously, Chief was on last episode and he did a really, really great job talking about his personal life. And we probably didn't spend the most time talking about ILEETA, but he will be assisting us throughout that week. So he's actually going to be like a mini guest.
Yeah. He's a co-host. I might be being replaced, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Never.
So ILEETA, what it stands for is International Law Enforcement Educators and Training Association. And that is an organization that is, again, international. It encompasses law enforcement throughout the globe, and they come together and talking about the best approaches for training recruits, academy, continuing education for law enforcement. And I think Chief shared last time that this actually, I guess, started in Wisconsin, or somebody from Wisconsin is a part of like the governing body. And I think in that and your and Chief's work, we kind of got included in that, which is super special. I think I don't know, I was really honored when you gave me the phone call.
I was just about to say, I feel incredibly honored to be asked. I hope we do it justice, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm more nervous. We present. So Chief and I have I think it's like actually, I don't know how long it is. I shouldn't speak on that. I should look that up. I think we're an hour and 45 minutes. Anyway, we have a presentation of some sort, right? And usually my anxiety is like, no, I do not want to present. But more so this time, I'm like, what do you mean you want me to podcast live?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? But I will say that it is a complete honor to be able to do this. And I hope the connections that he has down there's a lot of people who are very interested in getting on and talking to our listeners.
Which I think is so powerful. Again, like reflecting back, like to think about you and I just in a room being like, wait, your experience was like this? Wait, my experience was like this. And then to be at a place of like being invited to a conference to get to share. I don't know, like we've talked a lot about mental health and like the growth of mental health within first responders wheelhouse, which has been great. But I think there's this aspect too of like, I hope, you tell me what you think, but more inclusion of the family of first responders, that this just isn't a job. Obviously, there's single people that maybe just have four-legged children, that are first responders, but there are first responders that have families and I don't know, just some work to kind of say like, how do we include this whole group, as a family?
And I think what's really awesome about this is that international concept, right? So, like, I know for me in these interviews, really want to make sure that we're asking questions that cover what is it like for you guys, right?
Hmm.
All the way somewhere else far from here to
Right,
implement a mental health program for your departments, or do you have that? But
right.
also, what is it like for you guys? Are families included?
Yeah.
Families taken care of? Are they, what does that look like? And I think that's going to be something that's incredibly powerful to share that knowledge amongst each other and try to build off of that.
The wheels were turning as you're talking, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, can you imagine just like culturally,
Right.
right? Like, I don't know, just thinking about, gosh, there has to be such differences culturally in different places in the world and how they approach law enforcement or the different first responder organization. And so that's so different. And yet with this, it's also like, hey, what's so similar? What are things that we can work with, which we did almost have my dad crash today's episode, which, my dad did work internationally. And so maybe we should talk to him too a little bit about his experience and what that looks like in different communities. That's so different, maybe. And I mean, there's differences. I'm in Texas and you're in Wisconsin. Those are actually two different places, right?
Yes. Yeah, right. No, I
Yeah.
think about that all the time. Or like our work in Kentucky versus my work here, or I think about just how different my first responders are down there versus up here even.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
totally.
yeah, so it's actually very, very interesting, and I'm kind of pumped to learn. I'm just pumped to learn, honestly. I don't know if I'm
Yeah,
like,
I think we'll be like mini anthropologists while we're doing this work in St. Louis. I will say, let me talk about how I'm being replaced, and it's totally my fault. But Ashley called, I mean, and who calls nowadays, right? Like, you didn't even text me. You're like, I gotta talk to you. And you called me. And once, I secured the perimeter and made sure everybody was alive and everything was okay, you're like, no, I'm calling with exciting news, not to like report bad stuff. And you told me about this, and you're like, and they want us to be there and they want us to, go live with the podcast. And I was like, this is awesome. And this is technically last year when you called. Like, I'm like, I have nothing on this schedule except my son's spring break, but like, it's totally fine. It's the same stinking week as spring break. And I definitely shed some tears and talked to Clinton, my husband, about like, okay, what if I just like don't leave, or like I leave late to meet you guys, or if like I come home early and stuff, and there was just no way
oh, and
we could do
what do we stress on this podcast, right?
it.
And so we also there these opportunities are incredible. You are incredible. You will be missed. I'm going to make sure you're plugged in. Don't you worry somehow. But also you need to enjoy your family and experience
Yeah,
in life, right?
I am excited about our trip, but I definitely will have some serious FOMO. And it's so funny because Clint was like, we haven't done a vacation, just the three of us, like just our little small family. We've always met friends or gone with extended families. And so super excited about it. But at the same time, like again, we'll definitely miss this opportunity, but we'll have the calendar cleared for next year when we get invited back, when you and Chief do such a great job representing when the call hits home family.
Yeah, and he's fantastic. I mean, I think people have hopefully now with him being on twice, and we'll try to get him on a little bit here before we go to ILEETA to keep pushing this, but he's pretty good at like one of his biggest strengths is talking, right? And
Mhm.
being able to connect with people and ask really good questions, and his knowledge base, like he is the chief, but he's, his background is in psych, which is really encouraging, sometimes frustrating on my end because him and I can go round and round. Definitely encouraging, and I think that he will do a very good job. Like he is so pumped. It's actually really sweet. Like he is very excited and honored to come on and host our podcast with us, like for us. So,
Well, I'm hoping that you guys can manage, because I will say, in terms of us meeting last time, like you and him have a wonderful rapport, which also gives a little like brother sister. Like I'm like, I hope you guys don't need a mediator
oh, we
between.
might actually take each other out. Like I swear, there's been points where I look at him and I'm like, one of us is probably not making it back from this. Like, and I promise you, it's
Oh, my money's on you making it back.
I'm not
Sorry, Chief.
exactly. I'm like, I think you're underestimating my abilities here because for sure we can yeah, but I also, right? Like that's how Chief started on this podcast was because he heard us and he
Hmm.
said, "I don't agree with you." And I said, "Then change my mind," right? And that's something that I really really like about him is that we can totally disagree on something, but we could sit down and talk about it and be like, "Okay, here's my opinion on it. Here's yours. Let's work this out. Where does it go from here? How do we
Hmm.
communicate to make change then?" Which is actually how this all transpired
Isn't that
because
wild?
it's
Wow.
wild, right? He was like, I love your guys' podcast. I listen to you when I work out, but I disagree with some things. And I said, that's exactly why we do it.
Yeah.
Because we want people to take in the information and make change or think about it or come on and advocate and talk about it. And his passion with admin is something that it's, undeniably strong and it's a beautiful thing. However, I think that that can also be a negative in terms of like not recognizing that's a big struggle at a lot of departments.
Yeah. You know what I really appreciate about Chief is not only like obviously his passion, and I think passion gets people so far, but I just really appreciate his knowledge seeking spirit, if you will. I don't know, spirit's probably the wrong word to use, but he clearly is willing to put in the time and the research to gain information and doesn't just base decisions based on passion. Like he seems like to really be a real seeker of information and knowledge. And I do think, I think we can own our episodes that really is, I hate to use the word calling out, but saying like, hey, there's some opportunities here with leadership. There's a lot of do as I say, not as I do as leaders, or a lot of, yeah, we want to have a a policy that says this is what we do, but we don't necessarily have the follow through of what people
Yeah.
should do or what we want to do, or people still getting kind of blacklisted for being honest about kind of their emotional states and things like that. And I think also two things can be true, right? Like I think that there's are those experiences. I think we've had people come on and talk very like honestly and loudly about their experiences, and those were very true. And yet I think that there's also admin like chief that says like not in our department, like that's not what we're going to stand for. Like, we just honor who we serve here in terms of our officers, and with that we respect where they're at and we want to meet them where they're at, especially with their feelings.
Yeah. And so I'm interested in this too, because I do think that hopefully going to this conference, talking to these people, I am excited to learn and implement things at our department as well. Because he's very big on the whole wraparound of mental health. So, like, yes, you have the mental aspect of it, but if you're, like he said, if your finances are out of whack, if you're physically not in the best shape, if your eating is off, right? Like he's very big on the whole wraparound concept, but also there's so much truth to that. Like you can't always, you have to have things going right in a lot of those areas to feel okay. I mean, you have to try. And so I think that'll be interesting as well. I think we're going to probably ask a lot of our guests about those concepts too. What are we
Hmm.
doing to promote physical wellness in these different departments? And I hope that a lot of our listeners jump on. And like I said, a lot of these are going to be live, which like be with us on that, everyone.
Yeah, the tech journey that we're going to be
Yeah,
on. That's
that's where
probably
I'm
why I had
like, oh
to
my
like
gosh, I really need to.
leave the country, is because you guys don't need me anywhere near tech.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be anyway. So we're gonna get that done, but it's gonna be amazing. But yeah, I hope people jump on and like listen to us and take away what you want to take away, right? Like what a cool opportunity to have all these other people jump on and say, hey, like this might be something that you want to try.
Well, and I love to look at what's different. Chief mentioned that there's somebody from Italy. Like, what's different about, Italian law, right? And then again, that thing of like, but also what is so similar about our experiences.
I'm getting really excited actually just thinking about this.
I have I don't know, a funny story that I don't think I've ever told before, and I don't know, maybe this like has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but just that kind of thing about internationals. Have we talked about the World Police and Fire Games before? Have I talked to you about this?
I don't think so.
Have you ever heard of the World Police and Fire Games? Okay. Well, the World Police and Fire Games are model. I mean, it's the Winter Olympics right now. It's modeled from like the Olympic system, and there's all these different sports. And if you're a law enforcement or in the fire services, like you can compete. And I mean, it's pretty competitive and it's international. It's all over the world. And so my dad has competed in them, and they had it in Stockholm, Sweden. And so I got the opportunity to go to Stockholm, and my dad competed and I just got to be a tourist, which was pretty incredible. And with that, the Sweden was very open, Stockholm was very open, and they like allowed us to have tours of the different facilities. And so we went and saw a firehouse in Sweden, which I will say the Swedes drive Mercedes. Like the fire truck is a Mercedes.
What?
Yeah. Which is pretty hilarious. I was like, do I want to? This was a long time ago. I'm like, should I have like twist my ankle so I can ride in a Mercedes? Because I don't know that I'd ever had at the time. Again, this is a long time ago.
Oh,
We're going through, and they had like, a workout room, and they had the movie Backdraft, like the movie, they had a poster of the Backdraft, which I don't know. Have you ever even heard of that movie before?
I
It's
have,
old.
yes.
Okay. So we were like, oh, Backdraft, something that was in English that we could read, like, oh, Backdraft. And they're like, yeah. And they told us about a younger firefighter who would take dates to go see Backdraft. And then during like pivotal emotional scenes in the movie would turn and take like the salt from the popcorn and kind of put it in his eyes to
Stop
kind
it.
Apparently, it was a very, very good strategy to have the date go
Was
well.
it? Was
Yes,
it?
yes, yes.
These
So we all
ladies, though.
had a good
Look
laugh.
at the
So again, it's this thing of like, oh my goodness, in Sweden, they drive Mercedes. That's very different from the States. Oh, but young firefighters will still try to score in whatever means possible. Okay, should
just
we
that
cut
maybe
the
we should
story?
do.
Should we cut the story,
You
Ashley? I'm sorry.
know, maybe we should do a class. Like, look at me going off. Like, hold on, we're just gonna do one episode on like ladies. We'll have to bring men on for the opposite for when there's a female
Yeah,
first
yeah,
responder.
yeah, yeah.
Like, ladies, let me tell you how you handle some of these guys because working in this environment is something, right? And so, like, I'm gonna need you to know that they're doing some stuff like that on you. Like, I'm gonna do a whole episode on that
Yeah.
because. Whew,
Well, we shouldn't run their game by any means. We shouldn't, but I just remember that
part of me
story from
that
a long
likes
time
you,
ago.
the part of me
Yeah, yeah,
you.
yeah. Yeah. Well, that's not what this
That's right.
conference is about. Sorry, I got us really off
Sidetracked, but
track,
I actually do
but
love it. But no, yeah, so that's amazing. But that's the stuff I want to learn though. Like, who knew?
yeah,
That's so
right.
cool. We're saying like that stuff is cool. I want to know the differences. I want to learn. I want to see, and I think we're gonna
Yeah.
have a ton of that. So
Well, and again, and then also like what are these similarities? What are these experiences that are very similar? So I think that that's powerful. I had something else I wanted to mention, and I totally got us down a wild goose chase a little bit with that story, but just thinking about like these international things, and again, what's different, what's the same. And also too, I think I'm excited to hear more because I don't know, what is important or where trends are going with what are we wanting our officers to know and be trained better at in terms of a little bit more of like curriculum and, the educators and the trainers like Chief that are, taking time to train these people that are sacrificing and giving to the community.
yeah, absolutely. I think that there's some very much so truth to that because my brain has been a little bit like how I do feel like this is a hard conference because you got to get really creative, right? Like to
Hmm.
me, my brain is like, how do you expand trainings? Like what, you know what I mean? And I know
Right.
out there, but I just can't imagine how much change there can be, but yet there has to be. I don't know if that makes sense. And so I'm interested to see what people say. And again, I'm there the whole week with them. So I nobody could see my 100 blinks. So again, someone's probably not making it back, but I am very interested. So some of this is going to be things that are definitely not in my wheelhouse, but yet I'm eager to learn about it because I think that's the best way to continue to serve and help
Yeah.
my first responders is being able to understand where they're coming from.
Well, and I hope that our listeners understand that like our excitement is really about excitement for them. Like we hope that you guys enjoy this, that you guys are our number one concern and always appreciate your time that you give to us in the podcast. And we hope that this is, something very unique and different that we get to offer. And as much as Ashley is very open and was willing to see what Chief and disagreed with us on, I don't know that I can handle what all y'all's disagreements with us are. But please know that we are always open to hearing like your
Yeah.
perspective, your
And
experiences.
we want that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I
For
think
sure.
even throughout this, right, when we go live, like send us questions, maybe send some ideas, like before the conference.
Right.
We're doing this episode. I know this episode isn't our typical, hey, this is our topic thing, but
Hmm.
we want this to be engaging. So why not? Send us things like if you aren't going to ILEETA, but you're interested in stuff from there or wanting to know more, let me know. I will
Hmm.
dig and find and do the research and get the answer. So stuff like that, like
Well,
please.
and if you, want to join, I mean, I'm sure we can get information from them too in terms of like the steps of like how do you get your organization to participate and be on the cutting edge of kind of the world platform here of where trends and things are heading in terms of law enforcement training and education.
What I will say is that ILEETA is already very, very big, but from my understanding and what I'm learning is that it's growing significantly.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a great opportunity to get the information and to start jumping on board.
Yeah. Well, I just really appreciate, Ashley, your hard work to get when the call hits home's flag planted with this organization and you and Chief's work. And I'm excited to hear about the presentation. I know it's going to go really well.
taken both of us to get us here. And then this is just, to me, it's still just the beginning, right? Like we just
Yeah.
from here, which is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else for today?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I was cracking up at your little feedback comment of being like, I don't know if I can handle it. So let me tell you guys this really quick story and we'll sign off. I'm nervous about a week with all of these people because the other day, Tuesday, yeah, I wore my cowboy boots to work. I love my boots. I'm just a little
Yeah.
country girl, and I wore my boots under my jeans, so it wasn't like,
Yeah.
and I knew that morning. Before walking out, I was like, I better mentally prepare because it's coming to me today because I'm wearing these boots. I walk into the department. Almost everyone looks, right? They're like, oh, I could see I'm like waiting and waiting, like literally 5 minutes into my day at work at the department, and a chief goes, oh, are we riding horses today? And I was like, there it is. Here it is. Let's just get it out of the way. Like, I'm like, and that's what's gonna be the
He needs to come to Texas. Cowboy boots here are just tennis shoes. You wear them with everything
He was
down
like, "Can
here.
I borrow those?" Because they're all going to Tennessee, which, oh gosh, for a
Yeah.
conference. And I was like, I do have several pair, but no, we're getting matching cowboy hats.
I'm sure that those were your Chicago Bears cowboy boots that you were wearing too.
Oh, yeah, they do sell them. So watch out, world, because you bet it's coming.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, again, hopefully you guys don't need a mediator in your banter and stuff in your brother-sister relationship that you have. Thank you guys. And again, we're so excited to be a part of this organization.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor. We cannot wait for you guys to hear it, to be a part of this live stuff. Grab your merch,
Oh yeah.
represent us. Come on now, that merch store is so awesome. So grab your merch, represent us, jump on, share that we're doing this. We love it all. We love you guys for all of the support that you've given as well.
Yeah.
All right. So just don't forget that when the call hits home, Jennifer and I are here for you.
Bye. Have a good one.